Welcome to And That's When I Realized, the truth and comedy of midlife with me, Susan Dolci.
And me, Leone Dyer. We are two good friends navigating the twists and turns of that middle part of life, and we are laughing our way through it.
Don't get us wrong, it's not all that funny all the time. There's so much we are unprepared for. Adult children, changing bodies, aging parents. We want you to know that you are not alone in these challenges. So sit back, get a front row seat as we share true life stories with a fresh perspective and just a pinch of irreverence. And That's When I Realized starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome to And That's When I Realized. I'm Leone Dyer.
And I'm Susan Dolci.
And this is a show where we're tackling the truth and comedy of midlife. So Susan and I are best friends, and we get together almost every Friday, although lately it's been sparse. But we get together and we share our week, the joys, the challenges, the laughs, and discuss all those things that friends share. So I don't know about you, but we thought that by the time we hit our mid-50s, we would kind of have life figured out. But it turns out there's a whole lot we didn't expect. So today's show, exactly that. Today's show, we're talking about navigating fashion over 50. Because we are so hot and flashing. Thank you, Susan, for that. So get a cup of coffee, a glass of tea, and join us. Susan, I didn't know you put that in there until I read my notes.
Yeah, Leone's had a busy, really incredibly busy life. So I did the show notes today.
Yeah.
And so I came up with the title for today, and I thought it was perfect. Hot and flashy.
Hot and flashy. Yeah. Hot and flashing sometimes.
Yeah. So this was a show that I wanted to do because we've had a few. We've talked that, they're like when we had Candy on, Leone really wanted to cover that topic. And actually our next show was another request for by Leone. And if we get a chance, maybe we can talk about that later. But I really wanted to talk about fashion over 50 because I hit a point where I remember thinking to myself, can I wear this anymore?
Yeah.
And I think it's a valid question to ask yourself because, skirt lengths should, be appropriate. I mean, I think there's things we can and cannot wear. And so I really wanted to have this topic. I do really love fashion. The pandemic sort of took my fashion stride out of me. I found that I became very addicted to the athleisure wear, and not just for the elastic waistbands, but just because where was I going?
Right.
Even if it was a Zoom meeting, you only had to look good from the waist up, right? So,
well, okay. That being said, I was getting ready for the show, and my daughter calls. Who's my daughter? For those who don't know us or me, she's in her mid-20s, and so I'm getting ready, and I have my earbuds in, and we're chatting, and I'm telling her what the show is about, and I said, "And guess what I'm wearing, Liz? You're wearing that purple coat, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yep, I am." I love this purple coat. It's a purple denim jacket that I've had for years. And it's my comfort. I love it. Liz doesn't really like it. But I told Liz what I was wearing, and then I said, so hopefully we don't have to stand up because I'm in pajama bottoms. I kid you not. I am in pajama bottoms because it is cold here and I didn't really have anything comfy and warm to wear. So yeah.
So I would love to continue talking about your purple jacket and why you love it so much, but I'd like to know more about what how your fashion sense or lack of, which you can decide. I think you've got great fashion flair, but how it changed for you over time. How did you dress in your 20s? So wait, okay, 80s. So
80s. We were that is what kind of prompted this. Is in the 80s, stirrup pants. So for anyone who's under the age of, I don't know, what would be 50 or probably don't remember stirrup pants. but
Yeah.
they were huge in the 80s. And they're coming back.
They're back.
They are back.
They're
Yeah.
back.
And remember the seam that was down the front? Like you had to have the seam down the front.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen those, and they're usually like a ponte knit.
Yeah.
Uh, and they were great because they stayed tucked inside your boots all the
Mhm.
time. And so it was always this really clean line. That was before leggings. So they were the precursor to the legging, I think.
That was the legging of
Yeah,
the 80s,
yeah.
really.
But
Yeah.
it had a stirrup, so it stayed nicely
Yeah.
tucked.
And you would
Because there
wear them
was,
with sneakers or boots or
yeah, because the only place spandex really existed was in like workout wear, like your Jane Fonda high hipped leotards in the purple spandex and hot pink tights and leg warmers.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm going to bring this up just because you brought up the stirrup pants.
Yeah.
And that is that because I asked you when we were prepping for this, I said, do you have any fashion rules? And I have one singular fashion rule.
What
And
is it?
if I wore it the first time, I'm not wearing it the second time. I'm too old to wear it the second time it comes around.
Oh, I thought you meant you're not going to wear it like 2 days in a row.
No. So if I wore it back in the 80s and it's back now, I am not wearing it because
So
I
what about
just
like,
feel like I'm too old.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm thinking
Know
about
about
that. That's what the dead air is right there. That's me thinking. I
it?
don't know. That's not my rule.
So like when like a flare leg jean came out again, nope, not wearing those. I remember rainbows were really popular. Tie dye is the thing now. Mm-mm.
Okay. I never got into the tie-dye, really. I don't know why. I should have, because one of my things that I have about fashion is it has to be able to cover up the stains that I create on all my tops. I mean, I need like a bib, like an adult bib. But I yeah, I never really got into tie-dye. Like we have tie-dye at camp, like tie-dye day. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Trying to think of so here's a good one. Here's one fashion rule or here's one of my fashion don'ts that I I just love too much to sacrifice. And that was I love cheetah print.
Mm.
And I have this great pair of cheetah print boots that I was going to actually have as a prop today. But I remember it's a high boot, not a booty. And when I first got them, I loved them. And you could wear cheetah outside. I could wear them over leggings or stirrup
Mhm.
pants. I haven't had them that long. Um, and and then it's the whole cheetah print thing got more subtle.
Yeah.
Like I could wear those boots, but I had to have them underneath pants. So all you saw was a little bit of the toe, or you could have like a little bit of cheetah accent. Like you couldn't do like a lot of cheetah. That was considered gaudy.
Mhm.
Now, cheetah is full blown back in style,
Mhm.
full cheetah head to toe. Not that I would do that, but I told my husband, I'm like, I can wear my boots outside my pants again.
But okay,
And
but now you're wearing those again.
I am wearing those again. So,
So you're
but I
breaking
didn't
your
have those.
rule.
Yeah. But I think the difference is that it was that the cheetah never actually went away. It was just how much of it was
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm very excited to be able to wear them with a skirt um, or with my boots. So and they're ancient. I think they're as old as my oldest child. So that would be 27.
I don't, okay, I want to go back to when you opened about being appropriate, like the length of the skirt or whatever being appropriate. Um, do you think there's an appropriateness with age for that?
Well, I do. I mean, I don't think I should wear anything that hits mid thigh or even, way above my knee. I feel like it should hit at my knee.
Mhm.
And okay, I'm gonna say this. and I am sorry if I sound conceited. Honestly, I could pull it off. Like
Mhm.
I've got decent legs. I could pull it
Mhm.
off, but I would look ridiculous because like I think I would be trying to look like I'm 20 something and I'm not. I'm
So
57.
what about, okay, so I'm thinking of like the women that I see on the golf course, although they have, okay, so, or play tennis. I think tennis, their skirt's a little shorter than the golf course, unless you're my daughter, and then she, yeah. She
That's
wore
entirely
shorts.
different because that's you need it to have it shorter for movement. Like I'm
Mhm.
talking about, going out for dinner or,
So, okay, so with the length of the skirt, now going back to cheetah, do you think that there is a limit on how bold you can be with your prints at a certain age?
no,
Either young or old?
no, no. I love print. I actually have a red wrap dress. You've seen me in it. I have a red wrap dress with a bold cheetah print,
Yes,
like,
yes,
like,
yep.
$half size cheetah print on it. So no, I think you have to, if you feel comfortable in a bold print or
Mhm,
any sort of a bold statement, whether it's a necklace, as long as you
mhm.
feel uncomfortable in it, I think that's fine.
Yeah. And I'm okay. Like I don't have a, I'm more, I am okay with the length of the skirt or the top or whatever it is of how much you're exposing. I don't like, I'm okay with different ages. None of that. I don't have a limit to that. I
Mhm,
think if you feel confident enough, like if your confidence can pull that off, then go for it.
mhm.
And I think if, so for me, there's no way, no, 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 probably there's no way I would go above my knee in like drastically above my knee in a skirt. Like I wouldn't do it. I
Because
wouldn't
you
feel
wouldn't feel comfortable
comfortable.
in it. Yeah.
Not at all. And I wouldn't pull it off.
And I just
Like,
feel like I look inappropriate, like I'm just trying to look young. And
so then it wouldn't, so then you wouldn't feel confident enough. So
right,
therefore you wouldn't be pulling it off. But I
right.
can think of women, like there's this woman who goes to our church. Um, and she, I mean, okay, I mean, I'm just gonna, she is hot for her age. I mean,
Hot flashy.
yeah, hot and flashy. She is, and she's way over 50. But she wears these very they're like trench coat dresses. Do you know what I'm
Mhm,
talking? They're very
mhm,
boxy and
mhm,
they're very 80s. So she
mhm,
still has those with the shoulder pads, and
mhm.
she wears the
I had
big
two of them. I had
brooch.
two of those
Yeah.
back in the day,
So
a
she
white one and a
still
red one.
wears those, but they are probably 3 inches above her knee.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
wears these little heels, but she looks fabulous in them and she pulls it off. I mean, she just has this refined quality to her, and she sits and crosses her legs and she looks very elegant. I could not, first of all, yeah, no, it would not happen with me.
We're
Um,
gonna we're gonna take a break here. And
yes,
we're gonna
with
segue
that
into
image. Yeah.
fashion versus style. We could do this show with no breaks and never stop talking because yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break. You're listening to, and that's when I realized, and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to, and that's when I realized. I'm Susan Dolci. I'm here with my co host, Leone Dyer. And today we're talking about fashion over 50. And this is, I love this topic. I love clothes. I love fashion. I love experimenting with prints and colors. And it's just really fun for me. It always has been. So, one of the questions that came to mind when we were talking about the show is what's the difference between fashion and style?
Okay, so I knew you were going to ask this, and I purposely did not Google because what's the difference? Because I'm like, oh, I don't know, what's the difference? I think for me, style is my personality, and the
Okay.
fashion is how I show my style or how I show my personality. So my style is, and this is my number one, this is like my rule also for fashion, it has to be comfortable and ease. Like I was so primed at day one of my birth for this pandemic because it's, you know, I'm like, okay, we are in, you know, leisure wear. And if it's an elastic waist, I'm good. And so style and ease and comfort are my like go-to things. But I love, believe it or not, I love that romance feeling or that romance look.
Mhm.
And so it has to have a little bit of that, a little softness, I think, to it. And other than that, everything that how I wear my clothes, I will fall into that category.
So, so fashion is the vehicle that defines your style.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
So it can go, so fashion can go in and out, but my style will stay like,
Mhm.
like my purple coat is probably not in style, but I love it. So I just keep wearing it.
Well,
Um,
no, but it's your style.
it's my style. I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about all the vintage clothes that people wear that aren't, they're, you know, not technically in style right now. But I
Mhm.
think right now, I think anything goes.
I
Really.
think really, to be honest, for the most part, when I look back over, Dan and I are watching this whole series on how different movies were made. You know, it's a whole series on one of the streaming networks. It's fascinating, but when I'm looking at the people in there and like and they're being interviewed currently in this year or last year, but they have footage of them in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s, whenever that movie that they're talking about was made. And it's like, wow, we're still wearing that. Holy cow. You know, we've just kind of tweaked the color a little in the fashion, but I think things have kind of, other than the big shoulder pads.
They're coming back.
I saw that. Yeah. And the
I
big, you
love
can
big
tell like,
shoulder pads.
like when Dan cleans out his closet, I can tell like when that sports jacket or that suit, when he wore them every day, or even the tie by the width of the lapel or the tie itself.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's coming back, Dan. Throw it out. It's yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the funny thing about men's clothing, men's fashion is, you know, there's very little, you know, room for it to change. Like I remember like when the more slim suit became popular.
Mhm.
And Phil's a big guy. He's like 6'1", 6'2", and 200 pounds. And he's, you know, has muscles and he's a big guy. And he was like, there's no way I could pull off a suit like that. Like he would
Yeah.
look absolutely ridiculous in it. And when the blazers were, you know, tight and you buttoned them and they kind of pull, like he's like, yeah, I can't do that.
Right.
You know, and really and I'm sorry that I'm not a fashion designer, but you know, those are the things you can change: the width of the lapel, the width of the suit, the width of the tie,
Mhm.
the oh, here's another thing I saw coming back: pleats in the pants.
I hope not. Wait, in men or women or both?
I saw them for women.
Yeah. Well, I used to, and I did see this. I think it's called the paper bag waist.
What is
It's
that?
a high, well, well, maybe I'm not saying the right thing. It's a high waist. It's a waist, like a higher waist. And it kind of has like, where it's not ruffled, but like you would cinch it in, like you would tie it. It kind of has a
Oh
little,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen a
yeah,
lot of that, especially over
yeah,
the summer. I saw that.
right.
Yeah.
So that was huge. I had so many pants when I like went into like from college into professional life, that like when I find something that fits my body, I will buy it in every color. So, you know, I have, you know, so yeah, I had a lot of those pants. But
I
what is
remember.
style and fashion for you?
Well, no, I basically what you said. You know, fashion is the way that I can define my or show my style.
Mhm.
Uh, I remember in the 80s there were. Do you remember suspenders and pants?
Yeah, I didn't do those.
See, I was kind of bold. Like I remember I had a pair of royal blue suspender pants um, that I loved. I remember I had a cream colored satin jumpsuit.
Well, see, you're tiny and cute. You could
Disco
do that.
Inferno.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other some of the other bold things that I had, but I really like to play with fashion and maybe, yeah. My sister-in-law was,
Has like you asked before, like how my style has changed. And I used to wear bold colors. Like in the 80s, I had a pair of fuchsia pants and a bright royal pencil skirt, wool skirt, like bright colors. Then I went through this very like dark period in my life where everything was black. Everything, like everything. And then I've come out of it. And now I own black, but very little. So how has fashion changed for you from like the 80s into the 90s to where
well,
we are now?
I think I was always I liked trendy things. I think I still do, but I remember going through, like when I first, my first like real job and having to go buy suits, this is again back in so this is the late 80s, early 90s, and trying to, buying suits and everything had to be business, and we had to wear stockings and we had to wear heels.
Okay.
I remember thinking that it was extravagant to be trendy because you're investing all this money in work clothes that need to kind of last and stand the test of time. So then I kind of went from trendy to a little bit more classic. But man, everything had shoulder pads. I love shoulder pads, but everything did back then too. Like you couldn't get away from them. So, and now that I'm older, like once I left the corporate world, I kind of went back to being more fun and trendy in the things that I picked. But not if it was, I've got dresses that I've had for years that I can still, that are they're just classic dresses. They will always be in style.
And you've stayed pretty much the same size. Like
I have.
Like other than your pregnancies, you've gone like, yeah, no, like I have boxes, they're like storage boxes of clothes that are like all the different sizes. So it's not seasons, it's like the sizes. So there are things that I've had that I would love to have, like when I was my largest, there's like clothing that I would love, but it's gone, like I don't have that, which is probably good because, I would have everything.
So I know we're coming up on another break, and I know this is sort of a personal question, so you don't have to answer it. I do. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but
okay.
Why do you keep them?
Why do I keep what? The clothes? Okay. When I lost the largest, so I lost, I'm trying to think it was about 65 pounds. So when I lost that weight, I got rid of all those clothes, all of them. So I don't have any of those. And then we started, so that was when I got to then we started working, like we were working out and all that. And then I'd gain a little bit. And then I have to so I have it's between 20 and 30 pounds range of clothing. And through the pandemic, then I had to go through everything again. It's like, okay, here we go. We're reinventing ourselves again with clothing. And so with the pandemic, it was, leggings and sweater dresses and ease and comfort for me.
Yeah.
So I think I saved them because, there's a part okay, after this, I'm going to lose the weight again. And I don't want to buy, I want to have clothes that I can fit into. And I think a lot of people who balance with size or who, struggle with size, it's kind of a common thing we do.
Is it? Yeah. I and thank you for being honest and sharing that, because that's not something, I've had to deal with in my life. I think besides pregnancies, I did put on weight during the pandemic. But yeah, it's because to me, holding on to those older clothes is just to me, it would be like holding on to like bad memories or something. So that's why I was just,
You mean the ones that no longer fit?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't hold on to them because I have any attachment to them. I'm holding on because I just don't want to take the time or the money to go out and buy new ones when I'm back in that size again.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
for being
Yeah. Ease and comfort. That's
in comfort.
come on. Ease and
Okay,
comfort.
we're gonna take one more quick break. You're listening to, and that's when I realized we're talking about fashion over 50 today, and we'll be back in a little bit. Welcome back. You're listening to, and that's when I realized. I'm Susan Dolci. I'm here with my co-host and my best bud, Leone Dyer. And today we are talking about a topic that I love, and that's fashion, and specifically fashion over 50, especially when you are hot and flashy. So, so there are certain things that certain textures, and I know I'm going off the topic of that we're going to talk about in this segment, but there are certain fabrics that I can't wear anymore because if I get sweaty, then once the hot flash is over, now I'm freezing, like chiffons. And if anything has like a smooth surface on the inside, or yeah, I have gone through my closet and ditched so many things that because I wear them and then I'm putting a sweater on over them because I'm cold. Anyway.
So no, actually that's no, Susan, give yourself credit here. That's the perfect segue because
go ahead.
Because texture, so Susan and I, because we have so much time in our lives, we kind of went down the rabbit hole of this fashion personality expert, I would say. Would you say?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I want to say my friend Nancy gave me this great gift of introducing me to Carol Tuttle. Is that Tuttle? I believe. Yeah. And she's fabulous. The link is in the description, so do click on it when you're done watching us, and just go down that rabbit hole because it is fascinating. But so she puts you into four personalities,
energy types.
So don't go by your complexion. It's, we all went through that in the 80s or the 90s or whenever that happened. But this is your personalities and how you process and how you are, if you're an introvert, or how you walk through your day with responsibility is your style. It's, it falls into a category of your style. And one of the things is the texture of your clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right there with you can't have that, like that coolness or that's part of your personality type.
So, if you go to, so first of all, she's not sponsoring this. We just really like her.
No, we're just in love with her.
If you go to the show description, there is a link to her style quiz. Her style quiz is free, and it's about, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 questions. And then, you get the answer of what energy type you are. And
so, okay, I am going to interrupt because Susan and I took it like back when I had like no time in my life. I like did this and I took it and I got my style type. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I like that. So I went back, I took it again, got the same exact type, took it for the third time and like purposely answered the questions a little differently. Same type. I have this all three times, took the same. So Susan and I are talking and we're on Zoom together. And she's like, I don't think I like the type I got. I'm going to take the questions again.
So my first time I was a type 1.
Okay.
And I was like, I kind of see that, but I kind of don't. And anyway, because I can give some examples. So then I did it again. We did it. So go ahead. You can pick up the story from there.
And then she did it again. So she's like, okay, I think I want to be this type. How can I do that? So Susan is like forcing the answers to where she wants to be, which is totally her type. And she didn't want to even admit it. And I'm like, okay, you just keep going. Eventually you'll get there. But
So I took the quiz. We did it live yesterday, and I was a
Mhm.
2. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's some, I kind of like the 2 personality. I was like, yeah. And because I looked at 3 and I said, I'm definitely not a 3. And Leon's like, I think you're a 3. I was like, I'm not a 3.
I
Because
thought
like
you
3,
were 3, possibly a 4.
okay, so because 3 is like active, results oriented, driven, determined, intense, and like that's totally my husband. Type 2 is more like romantic and flowy and comfort, like Leon said, smooth, graceful. Type
Okay,
1,
I am not graceful. I just have to, that is the one that they talk about when you enter a room with ease and grace. I'm like, okay, they know I come in like a herd of buffalo. You
uh,
know,
so okay, and then 1 is like bubbly, um, hyperactive, high energy, very talkative, talks with their hands a lot.
Mhm.
So, and then 4 is analytical, and focused and perfectionist and,
Mm.
poised, private, kind of reclusive. So, so like the type 2 celebrities, would be Jennifer Aniston, Princess Diana, Richard Gere on the male side. Type 4 personalities are Audrey Hepburn, Halle Berry, and Steve Jobs. So she has a book. It's, What's My Nature? Or It's Just My Nature, I think is
No,
the name of the
no,
book.
dress. I have it. Hold on. I don't have it
Well,
right here.
there's one,
It's,
she has one that's called It's Just My Nature. I think
oh,
that's,
okay.
and so it's coming in the mail, but I had to read it for today's show. So I downloaded it on the Kindle. It was free, by the way, on the Kindle.
Mhm.
And I read, okay, I'm reading type 1. I'm like, yeah, that's not really me. And then, I mean, there's some aspects, and I was 2. And then I was 3, and I was thinking, because I was thinking, Leon's like, I think you're a 3. And I was like, yeah, maybe I have a little 3 tendency. And then I got to 4, and I was like, when I finished it, I'm like, I am so a 4. It is ridiculous. And
Mhm.
most people don't want to be 4s because we are very opinionated. We are perfectionist. We, are, I'm trying to think of some of the negative side effects of being,
No. But
um,
why do you
overly
this not?
critical. But I have learned to, because what I realized was that, and maybe you can say to this, maybe on your type, is that, I am opinionated. I am critical. I know I'm very analytical. I know I'm very focused, but I have learned as I've gotten older to to keep my mouth shut
Right.
and not say what I'm thinking. Like when I was much younger, I was, I'm sure a lot of people thought I was rude because I would just say what I was thinking. And also, you can't be, well, I guess you could, but in my opinion, you can't be critical and raise children, because you can't. You have to take everything with a grain of salt. But yeah, so I am totally, and in the book, one of the things about type 4s, and this was at the very end of the chapter, it was like they're very particular about doing their laundry, to the point where they won't let anybody else do their laundry.
Yeah.
My husband's like, yep, you can do all the laundry, honey. I'm like, good, good. I like to do the laundry. And it has to be folded right.
Mhm.
And it has to be hung, like to dry
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I'm very, very particular. So Leone asked me when I said I'm definitely a 4, and she's like, well, does that really resonate with you? And I said, yes, I just have to reconcile with my pushy, opinionated self. And
Yeah.
yeah.
But the cool thing with all of this is each one comes with, it teaches you to embrace that part of you and not to view it as a negative.
Right.
Like you get things done, and we've worked together in a class, and you are very, I mean, you're very much, when I like sit back and I think about when we were asked by the instructors, the teachers who formed this class, what we wanted to do in that, like how we wanted to, and you were all about like, okay, I want to help with orchestrating, getting the homework completed and being in charge of that, very like box in, like, this is what it is. And I'm more about, yeah, I want to work with how they feel. I want them to find their authentic voice. You know, I mean, it's all about like, yeah, they can get their work done, but you know, as long as they feel good about it. So, I mean, but totally I mean, it's not a negative. And I know you're like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. But it's how you get things done. And as long as you can embrace that this is who you are. You need point A to point B. You need these rules. And that's how you work.
And that's one of the interesting things about type 4s, which is so totally me too, is that I am a rule follower to the T, as long as I respect the person who's making the rules.
Yeah. No, all my friends who are listening will know this about me. I mean, they know this, and they're probably saying this right now. I am not a black and white person. And I think rules are more of a guideline. And I have said that
your type can wear gray.
Gray.
I am the only type who can wear black and white.
Right. And so it plays, I'm telling you, so I just went through, I'm going to call it Hell Week. I don't know if I can say that on air, but I just went through Hell Week. And so prior to going through that in my life, I had done this. I had gone through the color personality, so the 4 types. And so I knew my type, I knew my personality, I knew what colors work best for my personality. So each morning I would get up, and even though it was, you know, t-shirts and jeans or t-shirts and whatever, I would pick the colors within my category. And I felt, okay, now this is all like, you know, I could have probably had on black and I might have had the same feelings, but I felt so empowered. I felt so much more confident in wearing those colors and embracing, yeah, you know what? I am kind of over emotional, and yep, I do internalize everything. And yep, I do think of feelings before I think of action. That's who I am. And that's how I'm entering. And so I was able to walk into that building every morning, and it was not fun. It was not easy. It was really hard, but I felt that I was able to do it with ease and grace because I had this foundation to go on, or, you know, to put with me. So there is something to this.
Yeah. We're going to take our last break here. And when we come back, I want to, I want to talk about how, there's a few things that ARP recommends for fashion over 50.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So we're going to touch on that when we come back. We'll be back in a little bit. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to, and that's when I realized, Susan Dolci, Leone Dyer. We are having a chit chat today about fashion over 50. And so when we were doing research for today, because, you know, we always have to do a little research, I came across, pardon me, got a froggy again, an article in ARP blog about fashion tips for women over 50. And so they have 7 fashion tips. So the first one, and it says style smarts for any age, but you'll understand as I go down the list. So it's first one is get a good tailor. Clothes look best when they fit well. Well, that's true. I'm not going to argue with that.
Right.
Define your waist, no matter how big or small.
Okay. I don't know if that's true. I have a waist. So I have a waist, regardless of how my size, I've always had a waist. So I can show my waist. My friend, who is, I think they call like an apple, like, she does not have a waist. And every time, and she wants a waist. She wants to wear those dresses or those tops that like go in, and she cannot.
Yeah.
She looks pregnant in them. And, so she does much better to show off her limbs. I mean, yeah. So I would say don't, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have
If
to,
you
I mean, you have to feel comfortable. And to me, I think
exactly.
you have to feel beautiful. Like if you put
Mhm.
on something, you're like, wow, I feel really beautiful. I feel empowered. I feel
Mhm.
confident. Then you do that,
You do
that's
that, right.
okay. The third one, and we talked about this a little bit ago, keep your skirt and dress lengths to the knee.
Mm, I don't know. I know your opinion. Mine is if you have the great looking knees, show them. I'm okay. I am.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think I think I'm just uncomfortable. Like I said, if it were workout wear, that's completely different, but,
mhm.
um, yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, um, I'm sure if my mom were alive and she saw my hair right now, she would be having a hissy fit because she thinks that I'm sure she would say I'm too old to have long hair. Anyway, yeah,
Well, but
that's
no,
a
no, no. People used to have long hair. Like Dan's grandmother, my husband's grandmother, always had long hair, but she always wore it in a bun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so and here, don't show too much skin. Too short skirts and tops that are too low don't flatter anyone.
Again, the skirts. I don't. Yeah. The tops. I don't know. I mean, again, I know some older women who can pull it off and do it if you can, and I know younger women who probably shouldn't. So I think
Yeah,
again,
I mean,
it's the confidence thing.
yeah, yeah,
And
I
and
actually,
again, I think if for someone, if they feel comfortable in their clothing, like I know this woman who wears overalls. It fits her personality and her style. She's an artist, and man, she can pull off those overalls and they look fantastic. No,
again, because I think it goes back to what that whole Carol Tuttle, dressing your energy type.
yes,
It fits her energy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And digress off of the ARP here for a minute. The thing about those energy types, like Leone mentioned it at the very beginning of the show, is that she's not saying, all the colors, like so my type 4 is like, I think she calls them pure hues, so they're pure colors. One of those is like Kelly green, and the other one is yellow. I am not comfortable in those colors.
Yeah.
And she would say, if you love those colors and you feel good in them, wear them. It doesn't matter what your complexion is. It doesn't matter what your
Mhm.
skin tones are, because it's going, when you put it up next to you, your vibration, your energy type is going to resonate with those colors, and it's just going to work. Um, so, but I think there's still color preferences. So, okay, keep it simple. Stay away from bling. What?
I know. Yeah.
I love me some bling.
Yeah.
I've I mean, I've got a dress that I love that is it's all sequins, gold sequin, not gold. That sounds really flashy. It's like a mixture of tiny little like gold. It's a combination of tiny little gold sequins, like an evening dress,
Mhm.
below my knee. But I love bling.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not into that. And if you go to the Carol, like you do the Carol Tuttle thing, I mean, she's all just, if that's your personality is to be bold and shine, then do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, mute the loud prints, lean towards
Yeah.
solids.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. No, I'm not. Nope. Okay. This last one, 100%. That's like one of my rules.
Okay,
Do you want to,
buy
this
bras that
is,
really fit
yep.
and consider shapewear when needed.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I'm there.
Well, I mean, it's
Now that
true.
we know
Do
that.
you remember back, this is a long time ago, when Oprah Winfrey did the whole bra fitting episode?
No, I don't. I'm gonna go Google it now.
She did a whole thing on how women don't know, aren't, aren't really fit. They don't usually buy the right cup size
Mhm.
or band size or any of it. And so she recommended, going in and actually getting fitted. It was some lingerie, like high-end lingerie shop in Chicago. But Victoria's Secret will measure you. If you are really, but Victoria's Secret seems to have their own sort of measuring system that does not seem to relate to most women's bodies. Anyway. Okay, so we have a sticky note. Sticky
note. Yes. Style is a way to say you wait. Holy cow.
Okay,
hold on.
Let's start
Back
over.
up.
Okay.
Start over.
Okay, hold on. So for those of you who are new to our show, we say that there is no manual for life, and we are hoping just to impart a little wisdom at every show, one sticky note at a time. So, Leone, today's sticky note is what?
Style is a way to say who you are without having to speak. And that is Rachel Zoe.
Yeah, she's fabulous. She talk
She
about fashion. Like she can pull off, man. I haven't seen her in a while, but
yeah.
I always really enjoyed her style and her designs and stuff like that.
She was someone who totally was about, if you have the confidence to wear a color or a style or a pattern, then do it. And if you don't have that personality, I think she probably, I'm not going to say who was there first, Carol, Tuttle, or so, but
okay, because we're at the end here, and I just want to promote Carol Tuttle one more time. If you're curious about what we're talking about, and you go to the show description, there is a link for Carol Tuttle's style quiz, and it's free. So have some fun, go take it and see what happens. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember, age is just the number of years the world has been enjoying you. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for being here with us today on And That's When I Realized. We are here to shed some light on the misconceptions around midlife by sharing real life stories and a fresh perspective.
Look, we know it's not easy, but change is constant and inevitable. Let's explore what it means to move through challenges with a dose of humor and embrace each challenge, each new discovery with a higher sense of understanding. We hope you heard something today that made you laugh and recognize the truth and comedy of midlife. See you next time.